Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm author ER Reading, and today for you I have a video on how to co-write as a pantser. Now this is the fourth video in a guide to being successful as a pantser, so definitely check the playlist out down below, but let's jump into the video. A little bit of background on me. I am a YA fantasy author. My debut novel, Soul Chaser, is coming out in February 15th, and I am a pantser slash plantser. If you don't know what kind of pantser you are, or if you're a plotter here for this series, I will link the first video slash the playlist down below, so definitely go check that out for more information on that. But today we're going to discuss co-authors. Being a pantser, it can be difficult to work with another person, especially if that author is a plotter. Now, it's not completely impossible to be a plotter and a pantser working together on a project. It's not impossible. It is definitely a little bit more difficult, but I'm going to go through some steps that can help you with pantser on pantser writing or pantser and plotter writing together. So my tip number one is go chapter by chapter. Now this can work especially if you've got 2 POVs or more, and each of you can take a POV. This actually works very well often in co-writing, just in general, because then you each have a definitive voice for the character, and then you can kind of meld writing styles in between. However, it can be extremely helpful to go chapter by chapter with a plotter and a pantser, or a pantser and a pantser. So let me explain what I mean. So if the pantser starts with the first chapter and you have a basic idea and a basic outline. I did talk about outlines in my first video, but if you have a basic outline, and even if you're just a freestyle pantser, sometimes it can be nice to, both ends have to compromise a little bit in certain situations. So with working with a plotter, you may need a basic outline, whether it's more in depth or just super simple. It's really up to you and your co-writer. But once you have your basic outline, then it's a little bit more of a guideline for pantsers to not run off and kill the main character, and the co-writer needs to somehow work through the story that this other co-writer has now changed. So my suggestion, go chapter by chapter. So each person gets a chapter, they talk over some things that they were thinking about through the chapter with the co-writer. Communication is key in co-writing situations. So if you do a crucial element to the story or a crucial plot point, and you change something from your basic outline or from what you were discussing, or you just add in something completely different, make sure to communicate that with your co-writer. Now, once you've gone chapter by chapter, it's a lot easier to stay in the story rather than saying, I'm going to write this whole section and you're going to write this whole section. Now, that's not impossible. However, it is easier to go chapter by chapter or POV by POV. My second tip is to use your strengths. So each person has their own strengths as a writer, and using those strengths with a co-author means that you can also off-balance some of your weaknesses. So if you're really bad at coming up with character description, it can be really helpful and handy to have a co-author who is really in detail in those things, that they can help you build up that skill and be able to do it on your own and in works with them. The third tip is just to write on something like Google Docs that has linked documents, so that you can just share it through email with someone. Now this doesn't always work. Some people have writing preferences with, say, Microsoft Word. But if you're in something like Google Docs, it's way easier to share, way easier to stay up to date if you're writing at the same time, or just to stay up to date throughout the day, things like that. It becomes a lot easier on a co-written document where you both can see things updated in real time. Alright, so those were my tips and tricks for you to co-write with another author. I will see you very soon in another video. Bye!